What's going on, everybody? We are live. I'm late, and it's way earlier than I ever stream. It's Super Bowl Sunday. So rather than doing our normal later stream, since some people likely care about the Super Bowl, I'm not necessarily Nicola's, but I'm there to support her. Go Kansas City. So this was our Friday night build, which that's not what we're working on today. I've got more work done on it since, but that's not what we're working on today. So today I'm going to start assembling a new VS410 chassis. It's just for another project, but it's something I've got to get done. So yeah, regardless, needed to get that going. Thank you everybody for joining. I was late again getting, this is early for me. I mean, not early, but kind of early. I'm not a morning person, especially on the weekends. I work way too late. So thank you everybody for checking in. I need a Bucks shirt. I don't want to watch Super Bowl and just join last day off. Gotta go back to, yeah, you know. That's a shirt Nicole got for Josh to wear today. True story. Like, she also has a flag, like flag. She's like, you gonna put this on the wall? No, not putting that on the wall. So, yes, finally able to watch from Germany. I also thought that this would be a fun reason to do an earlier stream, because I know a lot of people, it just doesn't work out where they're at, even though, you know, it's hard for me to work that around normal time. There you go. So weekends are for sleeping in. Exactly right. Okay. I still have a little bit of a mess, but I'm going to read some comments while I clean that up slightly. Like I said, today I just have some stuff that I need to get assembled, so that was my main focus. What in the world? I'm surprised you're even awake. You can probably hear it in my voice that I'm not totally awake. This is my first coffee. I think you just saw me I made it, poured it right before this show. So I did find it. So this was the Drag Concepts wheelie bar that I took off of the build that we were doing on Friday. So is this working? Let's see if we can get that. All right. There we go. This is the wheelie bar that I took off, and it froze right away. Normally it at least takes a few minutes. Oh well. I see it in your eyes. One of those, we'll get there. Oh, you sound, thanks. I sent a message about files, then realized the top 5 for KOH were coming in. Sorry. I still got you your files, Brian, because I was glued to my computer at the time. Saw the email. Got it sent over for you. Hello from Boston. How often do I get to catch any of the live streams due to work? Yeah, but then even better. And how about Randy's win yesterday? And a decisive win at that. He started from far back in the pack, like 30-something, and he came in physically first, and then on corrected time, huge lead. So it was a good race. They had some good, hard rock trails. That was definitely a good race yesterday, and the coverage was amazing. Let me see if I can, is this over? Hey, it worked this time. And I'm so mad at that camera. We'll get there. West Virginia checking in. Do I have to buy a bomber now? I mean, obviously, it's you know what's funny enough, it probably is going to sell some RC bombers. You know, like it's just probably going to. Actually, I better make a lot of bombers. Yeah, no, it was good. You know, good for Randy Slauson to win that one. He's won twice previously, so his third win got to be a good feeling for sure. I'm gonna just kind of move some. Anyway, we'll see. I was gonna try and show you guys this. So if you can tell, you see how that's at like a steep angle? That should be flat on both sides. This wheelie bar bent really good. Oops. on the crash that ended up. Now, and I don't even really think it was that bad of a crash. I really just think that this aluminum is not that great. It's, you can see the clear stress marks in it and everything. I was just very surprised. Did not last very long. Bummer on that one. I forgot this was on early today. When did it start? 6 minutes ago. You were just making it. I wish axial bombers were brushless for $449. That's a good point. I mean, they are more expensive than some of the other axial options for what you get. So now this, let's see. Hold on a second. Get that out and start going. These videos are crappy clickbait without substance. That's what we're going to be working on. However, it just started, and the whole point of these on the weekends is mainly for question and answer, less for Hi from the UK, great. Hey, thanks for checking in. I figured that this might be a decent chat time, especially for more European watchers live. So I know that it's not my normal time, so these things probably won't be as many viewers, especially since it's just not my normal, but wish they had a bomber kit. They used to have the bomber kit, and it got discontinued maybe 2 years ago. So hello in Oahu. Good morning. That's pretty early there. I noticed you had a TXT1, one of your videos. Do you want to sell it? Do I? Oh, God, I forgot about that. That is not mine. That is somebody else's that I had for a swap meet. But it is still for sale. So that is definitely an option. Let's see. Do a review on the Hobbywing Quick Run. I ran the Quick Run Fusion in my Gatekeeper, and I've run the other one. I also have. Which one is this one? This is the Axe. But I've ran some of the quick runs before. That's for another project. The quick run Fusion, I really like the convenience factor of. I just don't love the speed and power that it has. I feel like it's just not enough for me. So I don't need that. I'll need those, but later. Since the Rift got pushed till April, I canceled my order, waiting on parts to build another VS410 using TRX4 axles. It is a bummer that the Rift got pushed. That is I haven't actually investigated to try and hear what happened, what kind of either shipping or if they made some sort of decision based on QC. Just like, damn. That sucks. I did break an axle. I bent a trailing arm and I broke an axle. I didn't know that I broke the axle until later. But it was actually on one of the live streams, which is not the ideal way to find something like that. I wouldn't have... Oh, and I'm dropping frames. Sorry. Hopefully that comes back. Let's see. Sorry, should be coming back shortly, though. Just waiting on the ketchup. Yeah, and I was in your video headed to it. Yeah, I was in the swap meet. What's my email? You can email me at josh@harleydesigns.com, and that will get to me. So, yes, but either way, I would. Yes, I know. Sorry about the lag. It's just, it keeps going. Come on. It feels like it's catching up, so I'm just kind of waiting on that. Sorry. Hopefully it's coming back for you. Reload if you're not getting anything. Rift is in stock in places in Europe. That is something that I found interesting, is that they delayed the US release, which makes me feel like it's more of a shipping thing, but also it could just be that it didn't make it in stock to those other places, or it made it to the stock there first, since it would have been coming not on a ocean container. So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't tried to find out anything about it, so it's kind of a mystery to me as well at this point. But I have a 4S waiting for the Rift. Nothing else I can use it for. Oh well. Tell you what, that 4S and the Rift is gonna be a lot. Those things are. I didn't even drive mine on 4S. I only drove mine on 3S. I brought a 4S and I was just like, after driving around 3S, I was like, wow, I'm not going to even try and plug in that battery. It's got a lot of power stock. What is the build today? I'm working on I need a VS410 chassis and the links and some stuff like that for another project. So just kind of, I had it installed on an old one, and seemed like now would be a good time to just swap it all over to the new one that I had. Hey, Cuba Vapes. Hello from Spain. Thanks for joining on an early Sunday morning. Vanquish going to make any more SCX-10-2 Rock Jocks anytime soon? SCX-10-2 Rock Jocks are still being made. They're in production like normal. Well, normal. You know, everything always shifts as new axles come and things like that, but they're still being made every day. So, don't need that one yet. Wrong length. I know I should be using instructions just to confirm screw lengths and stuff, but I think I have a pretty good idea. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, thank you. A good reminder. Question: any possibility to see a new Vanquish kit this year? Even if there was a new Vanquish kit tomorrow, I wouldn't tell you on a live stream. So, who knows? Could be yes. Could be 2021. It's also hard to say. Ah, God. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube has started like kicking people out from live streams when frames drop like that. So, apologize for it. It definitely affects my side as well. So, yeah. Or maybe Nicole's using all the Wi-Fi. As she says. Josh, is the Pro you enjoy driving the most have the rear portal, or was that a separate rig? That is technically the Pro that I enjoy driving the most that does have that. So, yeah, it's kind of a half breed between a Pro and Ultra. I still just call it my Pro, I guess, though. So, that's, yeah, you know, it's kind of a hypocritical thing to say that I always like my Pro the best, but. Do you have a good place to get steel tubing for custom build, and what size tubing do you recommend? So I get when I'm using tubing in a custom build, like this one, will be whatever. Then I use 3/16 DOM steel tubing from a website called stockcarsteel.com. It's the only place that I know of that you can actually get 3/16 DOM tubing. The only other tubing I've seen is stainless, which is harder to work with. So that's the best recommendation I have for you. I forgot, did you do anything to lift the front, or is it still fairly level? No, I didn't lift the front. I lowered the rear by moving the links from the link mount to the from the shock mount to the lower link mount. So that's like a 6mm difference. And a portal has 13 millimeters of raise to it, however you want to call that. So it took away about half of that, and then just with some spring tuning and things like that, I think I run soft springs in the rear and mediums in the front, so it still sits actually pretty level. How did you like Randy Slaussen's? You know what? I always have people who I'm like, I think I want to see them win, but Randy Slaussen winning is just, no matter what, it was just a good race. It was insane to see Jason Shear, who was way out in front with a 30-minute lead over the next person. It was run out of gas. Or no, sorry, Randy Slaussen didn't have that big of a lead. Jason Shear didn't have that big of a lead. He had a good lead and then ran out of gas with that new Ford engine. I was like, oh, that sucks. So, because he is so good in the rocks too, and just, I'm still running regular 90mm in the rear of that truck, Dale. I have 80s on my Ultra, but that's about it. Have you ever tried brake line tubing for a build? Yeah, I used to use brake line tubing. Brake line tubing is just super soft. I don't like using it. It's just not a very strong option. It's a cheap option, easy to get, so it works. If you want to build with it, it absolutely works. It's just a lot more soft. It's easy to flatten it in a crash or a big impact on the rocks. You'll actually flatten the tubing quite a bit, which can be scale as well. And the 3/16 DOM was also softer because it's still a tubing, but it's a better tubing still. So Slow Don just stopped in to say hi. I need to run some gas through the BMW. Doesn't sound like a bad time. Feel bad for Cameron Steele. Yeah, he was the one who had a 30-minute lead going into King's Graveyard, and then everything fell apart. That sounds like so he had lost a front drive, and so he lost front drive in the driver's front wheel, and he was still cooking through decent enough, and then the steering rack let go on him, which was just such a bummer. Hardly, let's see. If you won't tell us if Vanquish is coming out with something new, will you give us a hint if they're coming out with something new? No, that's the same thing. So, VS410 Pro or Ultra, are you asking what I'm building? This is just the chassis from an Ultra technically. But if you're asking my preference is the Pro usually. Is that a DeWalt drill? It is, but it is the 8-volt Gyro Max. So it's not like the size of my full-size drills or anything like that. And when you pull the trigger, nothing happens. But when you pull the trigger and then rotate, so as you rotate right, it goes righty-tighty, left, lefty-loop. It just becomes second nature. You don't even notice it. it's perfect for RC. It's, you know, too small for like real work, but for RC, it's perfect. It's nice and small. These little 8-volt batteries are great. I got when I bought this, it came with 2, so I've got one in the charger, one in here, and they'll last like 2 kits per battery even, so it's worth it. So, and then the tips that I'm using are these Traxxas tips. This is like their master kit or something like that. And I'm not technically, well, I need to build some other items for this. I always forget how fast these chassis kits go together. And I'm not, you know, like shock towers. I'm not going to use the stock ones. Actually, maybe I'll bolt them on. Why not? Why not? Gives us something to do. I just got into RC about a month ago. Loving my Red Cat Gen 8. Thanks for your videos. Helped me a bunch. Just want to say thank you. Hopefully you are having fun. End up with many more rigs. Brian. Oh, you're talking to Brian, sorry. And I didn't see the, maybe it's the VS410 Super Pro, Ultra Pro Deluxe that's on its way. God. I can't find a decent set of hex tips without spending $150 for them. If you want just like you're just going to buy a small set of tips, the MIPs. MIP has got a set of 1/4-inch tips like this that I think is just I believe they're pretty inexpensive. So, Dana, you're in Canada, right? I think it should still be a decent price. Of course, Vanquish is coming with something new in due time. If they didn't, they would be out of the game real quick. Yeah, but at the same time, you have to think of how long it typically is between kits. Like Pro and Ultra are not that old of a kit. Like at some point, of course, the kit will come, but the Pro and Ultra they're not like they're long in the tooth. Oh, you're asking for a preference. Can't decide. I mean, Pro is just my preference, but I like, and it's because of I like a regular axle style better, and I like the low center of gravity that a straight axle gives you over a portal. And even though we tried to make, you know, adjustments for the portals to give you a similar center of gravity, it does come at the effect of travel and things like that. So another thing to keep in mind. Lagging again, man. We'll see. Sorry about that. Not a lot I can do about it, though. It could be Nicole, using all the internet. But it does appear at least we're back quickly. Tom Brady sucks. It feels good to say. Nice. I approve. Good morning, RC World. Hey, Quack RC. Thank you very much as well. Hope all is well. This is an awesome Sunday build. Also, the drag car was great. King of the Hammers was so good. So, man, I had such a good time yesterday watching King of the Hammers. I sat in here all day, and I had the race going with the tracker going up top. Do you have a metal roll cage rock bouncer build? I mean, I technically have a Jeep that's kind of, I mean, it has that rock bouncer style. But other than the Rift, I really don't have one that I would say is a dedicated bouncer, really. I am not a big fan of how it seems a lot of the rock bouncer guys are going with the style of their custom cages. Like, rock bouncers are cool because of their kind of style, and the metal cages that a lot of guys are doing that are so unscaled, I'm just like, that looks terrible. Like, why is the front shock towers above the roof? Do you guys sell the VS410 half cab body by itself? I want to put it on. Yes, it is available by itself. It's on the website. Just search half cab or whatever, and it should pop right up for you. I'm going to build a mega truck. Have any advice? I've built, let's see, I've built 2 or 3 mega trucks on the channel. The TRX4 Sport one was kind of fun. It was super easy, just bolt-on set, where I did the Traxxas long arm lift kit and then the J Concepts Fling Kings. Then I did one based on the Billetworks Beast too. I never ran that one, just kind of got it set up. It was fun, but very custom and all. And then I did an old mega truck way back in the day. That was all tube chassis. Josh, did you finish the giveaway truck while you were at the workbench for the whole day? That truck's in pretty good shape. We're just going to wait on some stuff to come back. Yeah, no, that truck's in pretty good shape. So as soon as it gets everything in there, we'll get it on there. So, yes, as soon as the 50K is ready, then you'll see it. It'll be all finished. I've watched the videos on the VS410 element conversion. The panhard was the only real compromise. Yes, that was definitely the only issue that I ran into. Any tips on making brushless sensor connectors more water resistant? My Mamba X starts having issues with the slightest whiff of water. That's interesting. You could just use some dielectric grease. That might be the best bet. I haven't really ran into that exact issue. So, is RC Speedy going to replace your capper cage? I don't know. I dealt with them early. Like before I did the video, I sent an email just to not, I didn't want to like do the video and then send an email like, ugh. So I did it first to try and see if there was he wanted to make a solution to it before I did a video. And then he didn't really have anything. He said I could send it back to him, which like shipping it to China and then shipping it back. Like I'm gonna spend another $100, but who knows? So MIP tips are $60 for the 3 up there. Yeah, that does kind of sucks. But once you get it with a drill, they're kind of worth it. About running the rear portal and front straight, do you leave gearing as is, and is the OD reasonable? So you can't just leave it as is. I did a video specifically on it with the gearing, doing all of the gearing calculations. So basically what you do is you run the rear portal. You have to do some modification to flip the third member because you add a 2-gear portal, which would reverse the rotation. So you actually have to take the third member out, machine a couple of things. You can do it with a Dremel to flip it over. You have to use a new upper link mount, which I use the VS410 F9 servo mount. And then once you have that done, you run an overdrive ring and pinion in the rear axle and an overdrive portal gear set. And then once you have all that, it gives you about, it's like a 29% overdrive, if I remember from the video. So yeah, that's kind of the range. It does take a little bit of work to get the gearing back down. But after that, like I said, I run mine on a 3100 kV on 4S, and it's a lot of fun. So YouTube is pushing adverts on the live video. I just got an ad. You guys. So yeah, I think the ad thing must happen when people get booted. And I'm not sure why that happens, but still. Vanquish tips with the adapters are $11 each, and the tips are replaceable and can be used with the handles. Associated tips are worth looking. The one thing with the Vanquish tips I don't love with the adapters is how long they get. If you cut them down and use them, that's an option, but I think that our tips are a little bit too long. Otherwise, I would use them as well, but I honestly like the length of these better. So that's why I don't use ours, and not everything is the best for every situation. I use our tool adapter things for other little items. Like I've got, so this here is a 3mm tap that I put into one of our 1/4-inch tool adapters, which is super handy. So I love using these things for making my own making my own tool tips that aren't necessarily available, because I don't normally use a normal drill in here to like chuck up a tap, and I don't want to do it by hand in 3D prints and stuff, so even better. The associateds aren't too long, the bits store in the screwdriver handle. Right, because I think that the associated is basically the same as this one, which is the same as the dynamite and the loci. Well, which one is this? This is the dynamite. But the tool tips are a nice length. They actually work pretty well. And if you want, you can actually just use the tool that it comes with as a bonus. But these aren't bad tips. So yeah, I do like I just prefer the Traxxas ones. So I have a number of different options, but the Traxxas ones are usually the ones I reach for. Josh, did you get the premium subscription for KOH? I did, and it was worth it. One thing I jumped on the live, which one? Facebook, maybe for a little bit, and just kind of was reading through the chat, and I was like, the chat on it was so, like, I don't know, people were really douchey in the chat. I'm like, I don't miss not seeing that this time. So that's I wasn't super upset that I didn't have the chat. There we go. Isn't there room inside the F9s to machine them to be able to flip the gears? You can't just flip the gear over. You would need a reverse cut gear then. Since it's a high pinion, you can't just flip it over because the hypoid cut wouldn't actually work. So you would need a different type of, a whole different gear set to be able to do that. That's why I don't do that. Traxxas sells the 1/4-inch tips in smaller packs. I use them. Hey, there you know. I didn't actually know that. Because that is a good idea, because I use countersink drill adapter for that. Ah, there you go. Josh, what CI foams do you recommend for crawlers? I run the Little Novas, and depending on the weight of the truck, I'll run a soft front and a medium rear. And that's the 475 sized Little Nova foams. So those are the ones that I prefer. Tips like that store in the handle are good EDC things for your crawling bag. Exactly. Yes. That's usually where that one ends up, is just because it's got everything I need. It gets thrown in and I can move along. The KOH chat did get quite toxic. Lots of Light Bright fans versus haters made for real and interesting read. Yeah, honestly, like anytime you get somebody who comes in and just spams stuff like that, you're not going to make anybody else fans of you. You're going to turn people away. And I feel like their fans maybe caused them undue criticism because of that, which was unfortunate. Is Nicole making you wear that shirt? Yes. But I turned red lights on today. It's a theme. Can you use 2 front axles with offset diff to make 4-wheel steer? Would it work, or would it go the opposite directions? No, you can use 2 front axles. That's fine. Shattered a portal gear. Had to run home and grab the 10.3. All the bubbly on me. Mark Cart, thank you. The bubbly will have to wait till during the game, because I'm still drinking coffee, because this is... Oh, both teams are red. See, I don't know much about football. That is true, though. Who we're playing? What? Buccaneers? No, yeah, Buccaneers. I guess they are kind of like red and gray. You win some, you lose some. So why not? Is there a distinct advantage to running the more expensive Rock Jocks versus F9s? They're the same price. Brian, aren't they? Yeah, they're both the same price. I'm confused. It's the Rick and Morty effect. Being a shitty fan makes people hate the thing you are a fan of. I know. It's just, man. So, Light Bright is a bunch of, fake people. The only reason she is semi-famous because oof. She was on, I did not remember that they were on Hyperdrive. I watched Hyperdrive, but I did not remember that they were on that. Well, I didn't know anything about that. They're not somebody I normally watch. I saw that they got into Ultra 4 and I had heard of them before. Not my type of content, but hey, you know. I hope that they sold a bunch of premium KOH subscriptions, because that's all I care about, is that Hammer King is killing it and can keep making coverage better. This year, the FPV drone live stream footage was amazing. Absolutely made the streams. I used to watch, I've been watching KOH since like 2009, maybe, something like that. And it was like, at that time, the live feed was basically, it was like a stop motion camera at the start line. I had a friend who was racing that year, and they was just like, oh, there's the car. And it was just like, and then it was gone. And basically you would just watch the tracker all day. And that was basically all the coverage you got. And then once the live stream started going more and more, like, you'd have some live footage at the, at Hammertown, and then maybe there'd be a feed at like Chocolate Thunder. And that was like cool. And then, but they'd basically just disappear for a couple hours and be like, oh, here comes somebody back, because you'd be watching the tracker. I could go on and on and on. I know some of you guys don't care about full-size King of the Hammers, but it's so good. So good. It's just amazing how good the coverage is. Red lights, I figured you were starting a cat house. Red light district. I'm building a custom build with AR45 axles. Which transmission can I use? I already have a rig with a Team Garage Hack transmission. I want something else. The AR45s, I mean, you could use a VFD transmission, because those work with the offset of that. Otherwise, that you have the stock 3 gear. You've got, stock style 3 gear. Let me think. Is there any other like interesting transmissions? Like Team Garage Hack, that style, there's other styles like it, but it's basically going to be the same thing. There's like some deluxe ones, but again, they're just kind of those kind of compacts. I don't know. Not on the secondary market where you can get oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. There's not really a huge advantage between either one. It's mainly style. Kind of like how Ken Black got his seat in WRC car for 3 seasons. See, there's lots of motors. There's always motorsports drama. I have wireless earbuds in, watching this on my phone. Phone controls out of my hands. Watch what you'd like. How about the King of the Hammers? Yes, we've been talking about that quite. I could go on and on. I should have sent you these Ultra Shocks to build these clips. Plus, we haven't seen you spray yourself with sardine oil in a while. Yeah. You are right. I do find myself not building a lot of shocks on stream at times. That was the first time watching KOH, and I was like, how have I missed this? Yeah. Now, it gets better every year. It's like noticeably. And this year was it was constant coverage all the time, action. They could follow the leaders almost everywhere. Amazing. It is nice when streaming services are actually worth it. WRC Plus was incredible coverage of races. That's kind of interesting, because the rally racing, that was always the thing for me. Like, the only thing I could ever see is like the recaps. I was like, I'll have to check that out. I found a set of Rock Jocks, but they're $750. F9s, $400, $450. Rock Jocks are still in production. More coming. We've been putting them up over the last couple of weeks, and there'll be more coming probably in this next week or two. So look for the dust, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, there's going to be somebody. There's a dust cloud coming. Stealth X, yeah, that's another transmission option. It's kind of a 3-gear style, but with some overdrive. Not a lot of options for it, but still decent. Sorry, I'm late. I was catching up on KOH coverage. Worth it. I was up late on Friday night working on a project. What was I working on? Oh, I was working on the drag car later. And I was up too late. Saturday morning, I got up. I woke up and turned the feed on right as everybody was starting to leave the line. And then once like top 5 crossed the line, I was like, I've got to go take a nap. So makes me itch to go flying, watching the FPV quads on KOH. 12 degrees here in Missouri today. Ooh, I'm not going to lie, I feel the exact same way. I've got an FPV drone. I've also got some FPV wings. And I was like, man, I really need to go fly. So even if I'm bad, like, it's just fun. I even have some of the, I bought one of the, like, what is it, R9 long range setups that I never used. I was like, I need to do that. KOH drones were epic, watching them dodge around the marker tapes and get shots down rock spat from spinning. Yeah, I mean, I watched them land next to guys who were like repairing their car in the desert. Casey Curry was one of them during the T2 race. He was changing a flat tire. The drone flew out over the lake bed, landed next to him. They just watched him change his tire. Then they were loading the tire up and they like took off and kind of circled him and then amazing. Amazing. There was a lot of good graveyard shots. Yeah, I mean, that I knew that trail was going to be gnarly. I saw some guys pre-running it the week before on social media, and I was just like, I couldn't believe that was the new one of the new trails, and it definitely was an equalizer. And after once I was just seeing Cameron Steele struggle in King's Graveyard, and seeing who was coming up behind him, I was like, seeing Slauson in a solid axle, I'm like, he is going to fly through these trails and catch up to them. So yep, that was very interesting. It was exciting to watch, and it looked like Shear was just gonna walk away with it, with a easy victory. He runs out of gas, then Waylon Campbell ran out of gas. It was just like like, how are these people running out of gas? I mean, I get it. Like, they're obviously professional racers. Like, Shear, they said, could have ran out of gas because he had those 2 flat tires for so long and just eating up fuel trying to get through the trails. There we go. Hot Racing sells a bunch of options for it. Seems like many don't know about them. Yeah, I think Hot Racing has some like extra gear sets for them. I guess you can't get you can't get a dig or anything like that. You're kind of stuck with just some pretty basic stuff, but it's not that bad. So I've got some FPV planes. I haven't built them yet though. Still need goggles. Yeah, I've got some. What do I have? I think I have some Fat Shark, I don't know, HD2s or something like that. They were a good set, but not the best set. They were like a $300 set versus the $500 HD3 or something like that. Who knows? Either way, they were more than good enough for me. I still need a better, not antenna, but like whatever the diversity thing is that goes in there. Diversity, I think it's an old wooden ship used in Civil War times. Thanks everybody who's checking in now. I know it's a different time than normal, so we are. I'm working on just putting a chassis and some links together for a different build. This isn't one that's like a project of mine. It's just for a build that is needed. So something I needed to find some time for, to switch some stuff around. I've been debating for years on whether or not to get into. Honestly, the like drone racing stuff, not for me. Like, I thought that the freestyle was going to be for me and all that, and I was just like, I kind of like just flying around. So that's why I ended up picking up some of the FPV wings, and those I thought that was a lot of fun. And this is just a VS410 chassis kit, or VS410 chassis out of an Ultra. And I'm building the Ultra Links right now. We put shock towers on there. I'll build the transmission and all that as well. I'm not going through in order. I don't know why. Cougar Buttes look like totally awesome for RC. Actually, and it is. I have RC'd there a little bit as well, and it is a lot of fun. It reminds me of Mini Moab out by Salt Lake area. A lot of fun there too. Okay, HD2 are better than HD3. I probably have the HD3s then. Something like that. I don't remember what it was. I had one that had a more desirable aspect ratio. Wasn't Joking Chocolate Thunder up as a gnarly part of the course to watch? Yeah, that was, I mean, stuff got crazy. There's a lot of action and rolled over cars causing backups. I'm retrofitting a 2.2 Wraith sway bar on a 1.9. Are the mounts there on that Phoenix? I can't remember what they did on the chassis, if they left them there or not. Interesting. Especially with the wheelbase change, going from a, what, like a 13 and change wheelbase to a 12.3. I like this time. It's a lot easier to watch as a European. Yeah, I kind of guessed that, you know, for the Europeans. I don't know that I'll be able to, that I'll be doing the early every Sunday, but we'll see. I mean, obviously I didn't advertise a time for it this week, so, but maybe we'll throw that out there as a vote for people. See what time. I'll put a poll up on YouTube, something like that. See if people want the earlier stream on Sundays. I race FPV. It's a lot of fun to hit gates. They call me gate break. I've gone to my buddy Brandon, who I work with and who's the designer of a lot of the stuff like the VS410 and stuff like that. He is an FPV guy as well. And I've gone to some of that stuff. And the actual, you guys who actually race FPV, it's crazy to me. See your reflexes and how it's so good. So, Pro and Ultra and Pro use the same chassis. Yeah, chassis is identical on both trucks. So. Oh, you guys are talking about some Tamiya Yaris stuff, I'm guessing. Who had a bad wreck? I only checked a few times and heard fourth place mentioned a bad wreck. Yeah, Tom Ways got in a pretty bad cartwheel. It wasn't on camera, so no one really saw what happened, but a couple of the guys who were out in front stopped to check on him, so that was... He was on a run. Tom Ways has actually, he crossed the finish line first one year, but he had actually missed like an entire rock trail, so he didn't win because of it. They had to put a time penalty on him, and it was a big fiasco. But that was like 2012 or sometime. And the car that Tom Ways runs is actually Jason Shear's old car. I think Jason Shear won with that car at one point. So, do you and Matt have an estimate on the completion of the computer rigs? I need to get to work on mine because Matt is making good progress. So we don't have a real estimation yet, but probably need to get that wrapped up here before too long. Come on. So, is there an adapter for a Capra skid plate to an SCX transmission trying to install an SCX in my car? Yes, there is many. You can get either just an adapter, or you can get a whole new skid plate that works with it. But definitely more than one option to accomplish exactly what you're after. Does anyone know any more discount codes from AMain? They have one at the bottom, but they can be used once. I do not have any. I have a local shop that had an oh, more Tamiya. Hope you're not too late. No, we're an hour in, so we'll probably go at least another hour. The Can-Ams were, it was impressive to see how far and how competitive those Can-Ams were being in the big class. Link building, always fun. Oh. Grab the bent link. We'll do that soon. Josh, where did you get the link maker for the drill? That is from Team Garage Hack. I had my own that I had made a long time ago, and then Team Garage Hack actually machined one. So it's not very expensive, and it fits well, and it's just an easy. And when you combine it with a Zerba tool, which is this thing here, see, Zerba tool, it works super slick and saves you from having to like put wrenches in each end and spin them around, and then they fall out and fling in your face. I wouldn't recommend the In the Works RC skid. It's brittle and snap. I am not a big fan of 3D printed skid plates, so if I was trying to give anybody advice, I would say don't buy 3D printed skid plates unless they're at least like Shapeways printed. But then they're so expensive. But if you can, find a machined skid plate. Like, they're just far superior, like not even close. Oh, and Brian, I got the envelope that you sent the other day. It did not get opened. It is on top of the box with the other stuff. So technically, that is a possibility that is next week because I'm waiting on something else. So there's a possibility that that's next week. The only thing that could move it is if I can find the most powerful tens machine I can buy reasonably affordable. How many batteries do you need to take to Axial Fest? I have 7 4200 milliamp packs. Is that enough? I mean, it depends. You can literally drive trails all day. Well, I'm talking here on the West Coast. I imagine you probably can on Midwest as well. But you can also charge. They'll have charging stations if you don't bring your own. But I'll tell you that that's more batteries than I go through. But that's because I don't get to drive that much at Axial Fest. I drive in the evenings basically only because during the day I'm usually just talking to people or in the tent. So anyone, where can I get front aluminum AR? Oh, Losi Bahare. I have no idea on Losi Bahare stuff. Go KC. Josh, why are you not the biggest fan of high clearance bent links? I just don't like. It's for me. It's like the style. We ran them in comp trucks. We ran them in comp trucks back in the day, and they had a purpose there. In the scale trucks, I think that they look bad. You don't see them in the full size world. So I don't like them. And you're going to start exposing the drive shaft anyway, so you only have so much to gain. I just don't. It's not my thing. I get why, but not. There we go. Last one, the only bent link. So, BT, thank you very much. Love the shirt. Please say hi to Nicole too. I will, of course. Hi, I don't get to watch live often in the UK due to time zones. Great to see you choose time for us too, even if it's just once in a while. We'll take a vote. Maybe Sunday I go to an early one. It's not like I normally am crazy swamped on Sunday mornings. So we shall see. Maybe it is a possibility. It would help since all of my other streams are at the exact same time. Like, maybe we should change it up slightly. Josh, will the SCX-10-2 links work with F9 axles? Yes. Yes, they will. All right. All flat. Good to go. I suppose I can bolt them onto the chassis even. What was I going to do? Oh, I was going to get my 2.5. Did I already get my 2.5? I did. It's right there. That's why. Stripped out my SCX-10-2 single piece locker. Any single piece SCX-10-2 single piece? Oh, you mean like the ring gear and locker? If so, if you break that, I mean, my recommendation would be the Vanquish. But you know, just get yourself a nice 6-bolt spool and the gear set. If it's in the rear, get yourself the underdrive gear set, which gives you a little bit more reduction than the standard would. So it's a good option. Yet the company he works for makes bent links. Yes, we do. But only for the Wraith bomber. And that's actually, they're not high clearance bent. They're bent for rod angles into the link pockets. If you rotate them, they kind of look like high clearance, but they're meant to be not for that purpose. So, and like we mentioned earlier here, there's things that we make that I like other options better. These 1/4-inch tips. Technically, you can use the Vanquish tips and the adapters, but I prefer these. So sometimes there's things that I like that are different. It's okay. Maybe one day I'll make these type instead. Oh, come on. Get in your hole. Got it. Nailed it. Let's see. I thought of all this yard. I'm telling you. +1 for the early live streams will help us Europeans a lot to watch. You know, for that reason alone, it's not a bad idea. Sunday morning's good, but the wife might have a few choice words with you. It's going to slow down laundry folding and house cleanup. You know, that was why I always had thought Sunday night. I'm like, oh, you know, you're kind of winding down. You're not usually super busy on Sunday evenings because there's things to do the next, you got to go to work the next day, but it's always a different time somewhere else. Since I'm using a TRX4 axles, should I use TRX4 links on the SCX or SCX-10-2? Indy Bama, if you're using a VS410 chassis, you use SCX-10-2 links, but you need there's another separate little 2-link set that is for the TRX4. It's the Panhard and drag link. So I made a special set of links just for that combination on the website. But you need the SCX-10-2 link set also. So. Sorry, it scrolled past me quickly, so I have to. Sorry, I lost it. Went too quickly. I would need overdrive if it is the front. If it's the front, yes, you would need overdrive. or stock, one way or the other. Hey, Ryan, thank you very much. I ordered the Pro, sending the body to RC Patina Guy, along with a Unimog and G-Made Buffalo. Nice. I think you'll like it, and it's a really fun build. Really fun build. So, good choice. Are you too good for your home? I watched Happy Gilmore, not last. Was it last night? It was night before last. Friday night when I was up late. Yes. I hadn't seen that movie I've seen it a million times. I hadn't seen it forever. I was just like, I'm going to watch Happy Gilmore. Saw it pop up on HBO, and I was just like, you too good for your home. Answer me. Price is wrong, bitch. Oh, wrong link. Wrong screw link. Let's see. What is the anti-squat value on the VS410, and how do different mounting positions affect it? So you don't know the anti-squat value because it depends on the entire truck, the weight of everything. Anti-squat value is determined. Well, it's going to be funky with links on here. But anyway, so you have a 4-link rear axle. So you have your lower links and your upper links. And the point where if those links, if there was a straight line that continued forever, the point where those two links converged, like those two lines would continue into space and they would hit a point. So now where that point meets in the chassis, at a point somewhere, might be up here or down here, wherever. But that point and its relation to the center of gravity of the rest of the vehicle, if it's above it, it gives you a positive anti-squat value. I can't remember if it's above. Anyway, if that point is above or below the center of gravity is what gives you a positive or negative anti-squat value. And what happens with a positive or negative anti-squat is basically it either wants to drive over top of the center of gravity. So when it gets into a bind, it pushes the suspension down. Or if it's under it, it wants to raise the suspension up in a bind. So that's how different things affect that in different ways. And yeah, and it lags out right in the middle of that So the whole explanation got garbled by lag. Oh my god! All right, if it comes back, we will re-explain. So I think it's back now. I apologize for that. And hold on. I'm going to get this link in the pocket. And then, there we go. Hold, please. I've heard increasing the shock angle is supposed to help with travel or flexing. Do you ever do that? So when you take the shock angle and lay it down more, basically what happens is as it compresses, the amount of shock travel that it needs is lessened. The problem with that is that you get a falling rate suspension. So since your force is directly up, but the shock is like this, as it goes, like if it was perfectly sideways, the most extreme example, any upward force wouldn't apply any force to the shock. So you would have the shock wouldn't have any effect. Now, if it's straight up and down, any force translated 100% relates to the shock itself. So as you change that angle, you'll start to find, you find a percentage in between there. The problem is that when you start laying them down, that percentage changes as the suspension goes up. It goes less and less and less. So you end up with a really soft suspension when it's already almost completely collapsed. So your suspension that's what we call falling rate. So it just goes and it keeps getting softer and softer and softer, and it just collapses way too easily on itself. That's That's the main reason that I don't like that, because it makes the suspension less linear and less predictable then. If you're in a weird position and the suspension's already partially collapsed and you try and do something and it just kind of wants to fall all over itself. Again, a reason that I don't love that that setup. It's not that it's useless or bad, it's just the reason that I don't prefer it. I have ran it on many trucks in the past, but too short. Too short. Why does YouTube have to crap out when something is worth listening to? We'll go back over the anti-squat thing. We'll just give it a minute. Getting the lag during the anti-squat explanation was crappier than rubber. Hey, rubber was good. I've almost got all of these links mounted onto here, so maybe we can say that that will help the explanation. We'll see. Okay. In custom automotive suspension, anything past 45 degrees for shock angle starts to hurt your setup. Yeah, and it's, I mean, basically the same anywhere. You'll start getting that falling rate. Do you have more viewers now at this time than in the evenings when STL Sunday was? Definitely more than when STL Sunday was on. Not necessarily more than our normal Sunday viewership, even though we've only had a couple of them already, but so, okay, one more time, since I had stupid lag during the first anti-squat value talk. So basically, with the links here, let me put these together. So you can see, the upper and lower links. So when they're very parallel like that, when they run close to each other, the point where those two links converge would be further and further away, because there's such a small difference between them that it goes longer and longer. So anti-squat is also affected by your ride height, depending on where it sits. So you can, your anti-squat number is that, if anyone's like, you should be going for a 120% positive anti-squat value. It's like, well, you're blowing smoke, and that's all paper numbers, because if you just change your ride height a little bit by compression or whatever it happens to be, then your anti-squat numbers change. So don't let anybody be like, oh, I've found the perfect anti-squat value. It's like, no, it's just what works for them at the time. But if your links are drastically different, like this is an over-exaggeration, well, then the link convergence point is going to be pretty close, and depending on the angle and how those are at, you're going to find that. And it's not called instant center, but, or it might be, I can't remember. I think it is the instant center, but whatever. So then again, wherever that point is in relation to the chassis, say it's up here, just say the links go at an angle and they converge way up here. It's not realistic, that's too high, but the center of gravity of it is going to be here. So when the force applied by the rear axle is transmitted along that line to that point, it is over top of the center of gravity. So when you apply force to the actual chassis by tires driving, it's going to push the chassis down because it's driving over top of the center of gravity. So that's when you see like something load up and it will either like push itself down, or you've seen it oftentimes where they'll like jack themselves up. And that would be because those links are converging underneath of the center of gravity. So the center of gravity being up, and is it pushing, it would want to just raise everything up in the chassis. So that's how they affect it. If you move the convergence point by adjusting either the link spacing at the chassis or by raising or lowering the point at the axle, you can affect where that that center point is, it's instant center. I am correct. I couldn't remember for sure. So if you adjust that and that will move your instant center point, and you can see the chassis either reacting, one way or another more drastically. It's not always drastic though. Unless you're going very exaggerated in the positioning of the instant center above or below your center of gravity, you may barely notice it. And then again, it all changes throughout the suspension travel. So it's all, don't let anybody some people will say, oh, I know exactly. I raised it by 1/4 of a millimeter with a spacer and it changed everything. Like, well, you're a liar. So there you go. We got nerdy with tech talk for a while and lost 40% of our viewers. Kidding. So, can we put ECX Barrage axles under this chassis? I only have the 124 scale Barrage Phoenix. Sorry. Maybe that'll work still. The SCX24 guys love oversized laydown. Yeah, exactly. People love laydown shocks because it's flexy. Because the shocks have almost no effect on the suspension. That's why they do it. It's like, look at this and look what it'll do. Like, okay. You might as well just run limit straps and call it a day. So, Josh, will you still be uploading designs to Thingiverse? Probably not as much or not at all. STL Sunday didn't really take off. And before I only used Thingiverse just for, if I'd created a file and for some reason other people were going to want it, I was like, yeah, I'll throw it up there. But I probably won't be spending the time to create random worthless designs to upload. So I feel like we need more ECX Barrage content on this channel. Thanks, Alex. You're dead on. I used to crawl with the guy who had a Barrage, and he talked it up like he was the greatest thing, and relative to its cost, it probably is. I mean, I don't think I ever owned did they call it a 1/10, or was it like a 1/12 or 14th or 18th? Like what did they call that one? I know Matt has one that he was building like that custom Trekker on or something like that. So I see the anti-squat more in Sporty, Pro, and Super. Always wondered why. Yes, and in those, you can definitely, it's a weird world because of how over-exaggerated those cars are, with center of gravity being just basically on the ground with how low they have the weight slung. If you try and relate the anti-squat numbers of an RC, especially something comp oriented like a Sporty or a Pro or anything like that, it would, like, full-size guys would be like, that's not a realistic value. Nothing about that sounds correct. Will under or overdrive cause torque twist? It's one of those things that people will say they can use it to hide it, because of kind of how it drags or stretches out or stresses the drivetrain. At the same time, like, it won't, I don't know that it will cause it. It may actually show it more, especially if you're using overdrive in axles where gearing is already not enough. You may see it want to rotate an axle more. So yes, it kind of can. It's like racing. The perfect setup is probably half you just telling yourself you did something right. Exactly. Josh is awake now. Yes, I got tech talk. Oh. Let's do some traffic talk. Sounds like that it won't like it won't hurt both. I'm ready for some traffic talk. Give me a question. Josh, engineering question. PVC coated rebar in concrete or no? Any experience in floating roadways? I got to help build the world's longest floating bridge. Ooh, that is really interesting. I have never done anything with floating anything. No, I have not. The only thing I've ever done around waterways is having to do like bridge construction phasing, where we had to like do sheet pile walls so we could pour the actual pilings, and then PVC coated rebar in concrete or no. I luckily never had to do rebar design in concrete, since I was mainly in traffic and transportation. Didn't have to do it. Thank God, because rebar detail design work in plan sets is just, oh man. That's like what we would, on the bridge team, we had like the bridge interns, and it was like, guess what you're doing today? Detailing rebar drawings. Oh. So yes, we have seen the progression of sleepy Josh to full awake Josh. Yeah, watch this in like 5 times speed and you'll just see me. That spinning 3D printed washing machine was not pointless. 6 bearings in a washing machine. All designs are not worthless. They all teach something. I agree. But it was more about teaching than just drawing. So I mean, yes, I could maybe be learning a new style of drawing for myself, but mainly the point of what I was doing was because it was a live video. So I was trying to show something. I'm not trying to show myself something. I do that. I surprise myself almost every day. Like, what were you thinking? So I learned by mistake. Front axle done, onto the rear axle. What were you building again, L. Malone? Eddie's bearing sales are gonna plummet. Wait, what? What did I say that was? Oh, from No STL Sunday. I want to try a custom build drag car using a crawler, straight axle, 4-link rear, and rear facing brushless motor. Do you think it could work? I think you could make a car that would function. I do not think it would be competitive at all. I think that just the ring and pinion motor setup with that type of suspension will just have so many more losses in it compared to this super efficient, transverse mounted motor and everything. I think that you could absolutely build something that would be fun and cool, but definitely not going to be competitive. These guys, and I say that now because these guys, to be competitive with what these cars are doing, it's insane. I mean, what they're doing is just crazy. Josh made coffee with Red Bull. I haven't had an energy drink in a while. Like a while. I'm useless in traffic talk. I just want more DDIs. Oh, yes. I feel like DDIs are so underappreciated. I feel like everybody should drive through a DDI, which, if you're not familiar, is called a diverging diamond interchange. And that's where, as you approach the interchange, like how there's usually a light at the top of a normal diamond interchange. That's where you have off ramps, on ramps, or what would it be? Off ramps, on ramps. But normally you just have a light there. Well, at those points, actually, as you'd be approaching that, you would come to that light and you would actually cross over to the other side of the roadway. So you drive opposite and then go again. But the reason is because you do that one crossover and then you have a free left turn movement to get onto the interstate. They're only useful when you have mainly traffic that is coming to or going from the interstate. You don't want a lot of through traffic on the roadway. Traffic tip for you. It's all about the traffic flow patterns. What was up with that Spicoli V-Dub van build the other night? You getting into drifters? That was for Moose Jaw. That's Moose Jaw's kit. He painted that. And it was awesome. Can't wait to see your brazing video. Can you add how to figure out angles like headache rack without computer programs? Yeah. I don't think I'll be using any CAD for that. Definitely trying to make that as simple as possible. What's up, Jim? Good seeing you, man. Thanks for checking in. One of the guys that I used to crawl with back in the Omaha area. How's it going? I miss Nebraska. Rebar detailing, snooze. Totally agree, Scott. Do ball links wear out? I have a TRX4 and the steering has been getting sloppy. Yes, those will absolutely stretch a little bit, and you'll feel that play. Just get a new pack of rod ends and replace them out. Always a good thing to do. When will we see Fast Eddie washing machine bearing kits? Do you have experience with the SR6200 receiver? AVC mode will not disable for me. I do not. I think I have some in maybe some of the RTR stuff, but I don't know anything about Spectrum stuff, really. Fireman Bill, let me show you something. I just put the Vanquish chassis under my Element. When will Vanquish make some parts for the Element? I know what you mean. There's a million things I'd like to get done. Got to paint my van body. Moose Jaw did such a good job with that van body. He did so good. You have to find the bind. Oh, you guys are talking about actually fixing his. There you go. Hopefully someone can help you with that receiver. I use energy drinks to take the ano off stuff. What? No way. Someone tell me if that's for real. Hello from Portugal. Hello. Monster Java is where it's. Oh, I'm not knocking energy drinks. I like energy drinks. I just have tried to stop drinking them because I know that there's a lot of things in there. Armrest moved. Sure someone caught that. Where's Nicole to save us from the traffic trial? Nicole is busy with pregame coverage. Horrific. DDR in Columbia, Missouri. Now people are so confused by them. I did not work on the one in Columbia, but a lot of the other ones in Missouri I did. While working on the 520 bridge, I had to work a weekend. So little people on site, I got to officially claim the first wheelie across the bridge. Yes. Worth it. What bike, Dale? I have to know this. I have a 10.3 Gladiator and my 350 hub stainless hit the portal box. What hub do you use to clear? And this with the stainless, you have the stainless brake rotor. If you have the stainless brake rotor, you probably have to go to do you have to go to 475 or 600? I don't have mine here to check. Otherwise, I would check for you. I can't remember with the brake disc if you need to go. I think 475 puts you even, but hold on a second. I've got my Ultra here. Let's see. These are, I have a 600 on here with the, but I've got space. I think a 475 will work, but let's see. I guess technically I could answer that question. This is going to kind of sit for the moment. But on our first Sunday stream, we had this. Oh, wait, no. These are the straight axles. Sorry, I can't answer that question for you. Fail boat. Sorry. Just so you know, though, the hubs, the number, like 225, 350, that's a measurement. That's 0.225 inches, 0.350 inches, 0.47. So every step up is just 1/8 of an inch more offset. So if you look at it and you're like, I need, an 1/8 of an inch, going up one size will give you that. That's exactly what those mean. So, I have a hub box here. And I will show you. Now, the overall distance isn't what's going to measure that. It's actually more of an elsewhere. But, like, this is a 225. And I'm in millimeters. But the overall is, and I'm just going to, like, I'll put the 225 in and I'll zero. Was this camera going to work, you think? Hey, what do you know? So I'm just going to zero the 225. And then I'll go to a 350. Oh, and it freaking froze again. That makes me so angry. But anyway, so when you go to the bigger one, you'll just get that it's upside down, but you can see it's 1/8 of an inch per step. Maybe that will help you. I know I'm already losing position on, where did I get grease all over me? Hold on. Okay, I'm scrolling to the bottom because I'm way behind. So if I missed your question, you can repost it. I apologize. Is it possible to install an Axe R2 540L on the VS410 Pro? It's possible to do it. Oh, I see. I have not used the 540L, so I've not done that. Did you have to modify or did it just fit in there? I thought your Ultra was blue. Nope, it is green. Always been green. Have you ever tried putting VP Capras in a Pro setup? Kind of. My class 3 build for nationals last year was the VP Capras with the VFD trans. Now I did have to come up with a panhard setup, but that was it. Wasn't that bad. I have a hub box here, said nobody but Josh. Thanks. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes. Dale, that bike was a 2015 Yamaha FZ07. My wife says, where's it? My wife says that that's my other problem. I have a 15 FZ07, Gixxer 750, ZX6N. ZX6N. What's the N? I don't remember that. 03 KTM 640 and a 70 BMW custom cafe. Oh, I love cafe bikes. Let's send me a picture of your cafe. I always like that. That overhead cam sucks. I do not understand what the problem is with it. The camera should be good. I mean, it's working fine. It's just, it's got to be my cam link. I got to figure that out. So, I got my official email from Axial about the Rift delay. God, yeah, I'm gonna have to cover that in the news. Why does the front pump? What? Why does the front pump? I don't know what that means. I picked up a Savvy Bomber yesterday. Was just out driving in the snow. Definitely needs more speed. I'm thinking Mamba X 3800 kV slate. Good to say. That's a lot of kV. If you're running, I mean, that's a lot. I usually don't go any higher than 3,500 in a bomber. 3,000 is kind of where I like to be. So, can you do overhead shots but better? Yeah, thanks, Travis. Just put some Wild Peaks on Falcon S624. I also added hot racing skid, but I've got a bunch of SCX24 stuff here that I will get to hopefully before too long. I'm making a new chassis out of aluminum 1050. Would you recommend 3mm or 4mm thick sheets? Out of 1050 aluminum, I would probably say 4mm. I mean, 3mm is still pretty good. It's just under 1/8 of an inch. Depends on, the height that you decide to use and all that, and your cross bracing. So if you're gonna have it, if you're gonna have it the height of an SCX2 rail, then I would say 4mm. If you're going a little taller, probably get away with 3. Make sure you have good cross bracing. So, do you have that Capra axle class 3 in your shop to show us? I'm interested to see. I don't. I sold it. I sold the chassis, and I still have the axles somewhere, but I do not have that as a complete setup anymore. What's up? How are you? Nice shirt. Thank you. Hope you guys are all having a good. Everyone joining. Actually, we picked up a pretty good crowd today as well, even for being a different time and earlier. And I think, for people who can't normally make it. So again, thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. Sundays are mainly just about answering questions. If you're just joining, we already built we were working on VS410 chassis that I needed. So that was what we were working on earlier. We're not just sitting around, even though that's what we're doing at this point. Why do you always have one dislike? It's like somewhat... I usually have like 7 or 8 dislikes, usually. So it happens. It happens usually early on in YouTube. You'll get people who, as soon as you put out a video, they'll just immediately get like a number of dislikes, a few, whatever. It's just, there will always be people who, as soon as they see a video, they'll just go and click dislike. Like, the funny thing is that that still counts as like an interaction. So it doesn't hurt anything about a video. It just gives people like a metric. No matter what, if you hit the button, it helps me. So thank you everybody for hitting the like button. If you hit the dislike button, whatever. It still counts the same for me. So I just like seeing likes better than dislikes. I know there's a lot more people than 8 or 10 that don't like me. So it happens. Tekin Rock 412 HD works good. That's what I put in my last bomber. How is the speed versus stock with the Tekin? A lot faster. Twice as fast, at least. Ciao from Italy. Thank you. Thanks for... Anyone know if there are any solid axles that are slightly larger axles than what's on an SCX-24 scale truck? Say 1/18 scale or 120. Man, trying to think. I know a lot of those that used to be out, like the mini axles, kind of got discontinued over time. So I don't know what there is. You know, there's currently like the Hobby Plus 1/18 scale stuff, but that's basically 1/24 scale. It's just a little bit longer. So I picked one of those up, and it's pretty interesting. Can you bend carbon fiber sheeting? No. You can form it if you're making it from scratch, but you can't just bend carbon fiber. Like, this is some carbon fiber pieces that I cut myself. This is 2 mil carbon fiber, and even this, like I'm pretty strong, but I still, like, even 2 mil carbon fiber, it'll, like, at some point it'll crack and snap, but you do not get much bend out of it. So, are Novak systems any good? Oh, wow. Novak systems haven't been made for a long time, so I would not go that route. They used to be good. They're old now, though, and I wouldn't buy one new. If you have one around, though, run it. Would have missed it going to a comp, but supposedly exposed to COVID, so I couldn't go, and now I'm here. Hope that you don't have it. If you do, speedy recovery. It happens to people. Hopefully you and your family or anybody else are fine. So, haters showing love and didn't even know it. Pineapple on pizza? No. Jalapenos on pizza? Yes. Dislikes or interactions? All good. Exactly. It is what it is. 2200 kV, good for a VS410 Pro or something in the 3000. If you like maybe something a little bit slower, like not slow by any means, it's, faster than an RTR like type thing, but it's still fine. I like a little bit more myself, but I run with a lot more wheel speed than a lot of people. So my suggestions may not be for everybody. Josh, I'm telling you this as a friend, nobody likes you. Thanks, Phoenix. The Losi Mini Nightcrawler. Did they? I don't think they made a mini Nightcrawler, did they? They just made the mini crawler from before, and I don't think that they still make it anymore. Okay, I'm still trying to catch up. Novak, I think, shut down shop time back. I think like 5 years ago or more. Hello from Israel. Good luck, KC. Thank you. Is there any solid axle rear independent front axle bouncers? Tim Cameron built one. And I think, I can't remember, there's probably another, or I know maybe he's built 2, but either way. So yes, there are. And then there's the Outlaw buggy, which is fully independent. I'm pretty strong. Sure you are, Josh. We believe you. I'm making a Mudbog van, and I have a Castle Signwider 3 and a 6900 kV motor in it. It's twitchy. How do I fix it? You go to a more reasonable motor. That is an insanely fast motor. Yeah, you're gear down, man. It won't yield. It just breaks. Yeah. The what is it? The yield. What is the yield curve? You have because you've got stressing, bending, necking, yielding. Is that right? Or is it yielding? Then yield is the bend area. Then there's necking and breaking. I don't remember. I can't remember that curve. It's been a while. Will Vanquish ever make an extended wheelbase frame set for bodies like the Axial Gladiator? I don't know. Probably not specifically, just because it's kind of expensive to make chassis and things like that, and it's probably not the most common thing. So, Josh, check your Instagram. Sent you a pic of the BM Cafe custom frame. Oh, hit all the wiring inside the chassis, Gixxer controls, custom seat, and Moto Gadget Electron. Oh, that sounds rad. I will check that out. I love the sound of that. Brushed or brushless, Josh? Brushless for me. I like the no maintenance aspect of it. I like the power. I like the efficiency. And I love the tuning. So all of those things are things that I like. Shout out from Kuwait. Rad LSX Fox. LSX Fox. Is that, you have an LSX Fox body Mustang? If so, I am in. I would love to own that combination if that is what your name means. Hello from Germany. Habanero, buddy. Habanero. What does that mean? Habanero peppers on pizza? Is that what you're saying? How's it from South Africa? Man, you're just getting all kinds of cool places today doing the early stream. You might have to do it just for that. It's so worth it. I'm going to boycott the Super Bowl this year. And oh, not a KC fan because they beat my team last year. You know what? That's reasonable. Moonbuggy capper build for a future show. I mean, I did that one, and I just was so disappointed with that RC Speedy that I don't know. I don't know if I will. Why didn't you like the capper? Just wondering. I just didn't love the cage size, and the transmission was really elastic and plastic deformation. There you go. Elastic is where it starts to bend but will return. Plastic is the point where it starts going but it's not going to come back. Elastic and plastic deformation. Tim Cameron has a Menace. That was his IFS one. That's correct. But anyway, I just didn't like the capper for a number of reasons. Like kind of a sum of all things. It just didn't really do it for me. So I just didn't. It just needed too many things that in a way that it pushed me past the edge of wanting to fix it. If you had to choose between an MST JP1 or the J45C, why would you choose the J45C? So, let's see. Here is my this is VS410 Ultra with the J45C. And here is my VS410 Pro with the JP1. Because they are both awesome bodies. The one thing is that the J45C, the bed on the back of it is very heavy. Like, so the plan for this one is that I am going to, let me put this in the right, put it in the right hole. To make this one work how I want to, I'm going to cut out most of the plastic on this to try and lighten it up a bunch and then make some modifications to make that work. And I also want to make the shocks kind of come through it just so that I can get this whole body sitting about an inch lower than what it is. I'm going to cut the chassis shorten it up. This one here is the base of my Class 2 build that I did for Nationals. Now I got it sitting decently low. I really like the Jeeps though. It needs new sliders, but I did a lot of tube work in the back that I really liked on this one. Now I've got cardboard in here because that's templates for making inner fender panels. And it just, honestly, it came out like I want. There is one thing I need to do. I'm gonna actually cut the bed of this off. Not off, but cut in here. And I need to move this in about 3/16 of an inch because it's putting too much stress on the back corner of this body and it's not wanting to snap over properly. Looks like those rear shocks are laying down. They're laying down a little bit. You can see that angle in there. It's not too much, but it's a little bit. I kind of wanted a little bit of that pre-runner style, and I really, really liked how the rear tube work on this thing came out. It was just a fun build. And I did some other, there was some stuff I had done on this and I don't think I ever covered it in video because Nationals got canceled. So I made this, the rear, in the rear back here, I've got this piece that goes across between the shock towers. It attaches to the shock towers. I'm trying to block my face out so it focuses. But you can see that piece that goes across. I also have you can see that little spot right there? That's actually an 1/8 inch piece of rod that's driven all the way through this. I just printed it like that and just punched it all the way through to give this thing a bunch more support and made it super strong. But the point of that is that I also have then a receiving side here that's bolted to the body. And so when this body sits down on the chassis, it rests perfectly against this and doesn't put the stress on the body where the cage goes through, so I don't rip the body all the way through. So I wanted the look of the cage coming through the body, but anytime you do that, you just end up destroying them. So best thing I was trying to, best thing I could come up with. But between these two, I don't know, we'll have to see when they're done. This is actually going to get turned into like this because this is a D44 front and a portal rear. So this is getting the same treatment. F9 front, portal rear. And I just blacked out basically talking about projects, so I haven't read a single comment in like 5 minutes. So let's find where, oh man, we're gonna have to just, I'm gonna go to the bottom. Since you hated the RC Speedy buggy, have Max Daddy's make you a proper buggy. It will be way better. Yes. Well, I want definitely a better one from him, but a different truck though, specifically. So where's the rest of your cage? You mean on the JP45? I just haven't installed it because I probably won't. Just trying to, this thing, there was already so much to this that I need to try and get it smaller. Crawlin' Finn, thank you, sir. Hello, sir. Nice to see you streaming a bit earlier. Usually it's 4 a.m. when you're going live. So, yes. Whoop. Josh, do you have a build series on that Jeep? Yes, I do. This was my, if you go back and watch Road to the Scale Nats, that's where I was building this. I did some brazing videos when I was doing this one, the whole deal. I like that cage work. That's the next step on my pro. Yeah, this was fun, and I want to keep this and get it all kind of dialed in. I really like the style of this, and it's exactly like my pro that I love to drive the most. So it's got some custom Cerakoted white wheels. So another fun step. not canceled, just postponed. I don't have a lot of hope that it'll happen this year either. And we're dropping frames again. Let's see. We're going to see if frames come back before I start just rambling on again. We're going to put some tools away, clear up some space, while hopefully this lag clears up as well. I always hate talking about the lag so much because in the post-processed video, usually when if people ever watch later, it will clear itself up. So anyway. Hi Josh, question. I just bought a Holmes Hobby Crowmaster Sport 550 12 turn to go in my SCX-10-2 kit with the Hobbywing 1080. I'm just using 2S 2000 milliamp LiPo. What pinion should I use for crawling? SCX-10-2, SCX-10-2 kit with, I would probably start around a 14 tooth pinion on that rig. Should be a good start. See how that works. Make sure you just watch your temperatures so things don't get too hot. Let's see. Hey Josh, my girlfriend wants to know how Nicole deals with the room filled with RC cars. So I think she could easily deal with this room being filled with RC cars. I think what stresses her out more is the fact that it's not just this room and that it has started to spill out. Like I have my desk out there where my editing PC and everything is, but there's actually a number of like RC boxes and project boxes around it right now. And then I also have stuff in the garage, which also becomes a problem. You know, things get out of hand. Don't be like Josh. For healthy relationships. I mean, Nicole is a saint for that reason. She yells about it a little bit. She's like, what are you going to do about all these things? I'm like, yeah, it's getting a little out of hand. Josh, if Proline discontinued the crawlers, Josh would be pooched. That is very true. And if I heard about it, I would be stopped. Yeah, both of these trucks have like brand new crawlers on it, don't they? Just noticing that. When is light bright driving? You're killing me, crawling Finn. Can you show us how to add oil to the VS410 shocks without them leaking? I think I did. If you go to my VS410 Pro assembly videos, I go through that. So go check that out. I went through how I do them. How do you fix the chassis hanging out of the front? You cut it off. This one, so like technically this could be put, this could be put about like right there, which is where it would normally fit and everything would be about right. I'm going to cheat it rearward about like that so that I can maximize approach angle, but to do that, I'm going to cut off the front of the chassis with a cutoff wheel. So, yeah. I made a part of my backyard into an SCX-24 course. So far, obstacles, I have a bridge, a rock garden, a canyon. Any ideas on obstacles? Oh, man. Like you're saying canyon, you need a little riverbed. Some river rock is easy to make it look like that. Vanquish should sell the kits without the extremely bad wheels and tires they include. It's one of those things. Like people want a complete kit. Yeah, our tires weren't people's favorites, but the wheels get the job done. And for an inexpensive wheel set, it's, if we included a glue-on set, because it still needs to be a complete kit. So, yeah. Got to go to work on my 1-to-1 91 Toyota 3/4 swap, solid axle swapped, ARBs, front and rear, dual cases. Have fun, go KC. Have fun working on the rig. Will the original project be done by the end of the stream? No, it was just it's just something I needed to start on. I needed something to tinker on during this. I was like, I need to get that done anyway. So, do you paint your own stuff? I do at times, and you can always tell the ones that I painted because they look terrible. When I want something that looks good, I have somebody else do it. I should try harder with paint, but you know, it's like one of those things that I feel like I should try harder to be more competent at it, but it's not the thing that I enjoy the most. So I'm just like, I could have somebody else do that and just keep doing the part that I like the most. And since it's usually time that I'm shortest on, yeah. Derek Loomis, thank you, sir. Do you prefer tubing or solid rod when doing cage work? So both, but for different reasons. I do like working with tubing. This bed is mainly tubing, and it's lighter weight. It's also this cage is brazed, not TIG welded. For the most part, I think I TIG welded some of it, but for brazing, tubing heats up so much quicker, so it's easier to get your joint hot, flow your silver solder in there, and then you're just good to go. So that's nice. It's also lighter weight, so a little bit more competitive. But it's way more expensive, and you have to be careful with bending it. You need a bender that doesn't kink the tubing. So for that reason, solid rod is way easier to work with. You don't have to worry about it. You bend it with 2 box end wrenches if you want. Just whatever you got to do. It's just easy in that respect. It's super cheap, but it's heavy. So there's pros and cons to both. I use both often. Our wives are special people to put up with us. Agreed. Pretty much any guy. We all have our own. I mean, we all deal with both our halves, their own level of crazy, right? Epic prank when Nicole is away. Fill the room from floor to ceiling with VS410 boxes. What camera do you use and recommend to film RCs? Honestly, just whatever you have is great to start with. I started with just filming with my cell phone, but that camera is a Sony a6400. This one, which isn't working very well, is an a6000, but it's not the camera's fault. My Canon SL2 is sitting over here on the bench, and that was my camera for a long time. But I used cheap cameras and just use whatever. Don't worry too much about it. GoPros are finicky, but I also use them a lot. So it's, just start filming and just figure out if you like. I wouldn't like spend a bunch of money before doing it just because, but is anyone looking forward to the ESC Holmes is working on? Absolutely. Yeah, no matter what, Holmes puts so much passion into exactly our area that I'm, for that reason, very excited. That Jeep needs its own running video. Yeah, it does, but I need to get it finished. I want to do the bed nicely and some inner fenders and a bunch of stuff. I want better sliders on it, but I really like this truck in general, so that is one reason that I really like it. It's staying. Chubbs is trying to get Josh beat. Chibs. Chubbs was in Happy Gilmore. I would leave the chassis length, then mount a scale hydraulic. No, I want the approach angle. It's all about approach angle. I'm going to put a bumper on the front tight, but I want that approach angle to be just as good as possible. Definitely cutting it up. Would you consider cutting carbon side plates for me? I sent you the aluminum prototypes. If I sent you, man, I just don't have a lot of time to do side work like that. Like if you sent me the aluminum ones, I'd have to do the CAD work, write the tool paths, do the carbon, right? All that. It's like 3 or 4 hours possibly. And it's just like, I've got so many projects that need to work. Can you show us how to make RC4 dive shocks not leak? Oh wait, you can't. True story. Do you still have your Kyosho Trail King? I technically do, even though it technically still needs to go to Phoenix. So why try harder at painting when Moose Jaw is so close? You know, I'm thinking the same thing. I got that drag card put together, and I've got the CUDA body and all that, and I'm just like, man, I think that someone said Moose Jaw should paint it, and I was just like, you know what? I think I just need to put a crappy paint job on it to get it going. But now I'm thinking Moose Jaw needs to paint it. So I need to get the wiring cleaned up, but I got the last night, yesterday, whatever. I ended up actually engineering so this kit and the wheelie bar is designed to work with like the DR10. This didn't start as a DR10 though, so I had a different rear mount set up, and I put the aluminum one on. So I wanted to use that, so I came up with this kind of carbon fiber and Delrin machined thing. And I wish I could show you better, because it's actually super cool, and I love it. And I designed and cut myself a 3D print, or a carbon fiber rear body extension, because that's common, and I wanted to get those body mounts further out. So I did that too. But yeah, this thing is fun. I'm really digging this. This needs to get all rewired though for wire lengths to be proper. So that's probably going to be another Sunday stream, maybe in the next couple weeks. Whoa, why so early? Because the Super Bowl is on tonight. So we did it early. And I may switch to the early streams on Sunday. I kind of like it. Question, when running the VS410 Pro with 21% overdrive, will running at high speeds stress or wear the gears faster? Technically, yes, it will put more stress on things. However, I run at much higher overdrive rates on some of mine, and at 4S on 3100 kV, and I've had no problems. So technically it adds stress and will wear things faster, but it would be a long time before it's actually an issue. So I wouldn't worry. What's a good bender for bending tubing? That's a really good question, and the bender I have is no longer available. So I wish I had a better answer for you, like one that, yeah, I just don't have a great answer right now. So I use an A6000 Cracker. Yeah, the A6000, I mean, it's a good camera. I'm just having an issue with my overhead thing, because it's doing this and then it's going to immediately freeze. See? Frozen. I don't know why. It's pissing me off is what it's doing. Josh, quick question. Since you have them both in your room, could you measure the length and width between the Trail Honcho bed versus the SCX-10 Overland bed racking? I don't have either of those at all. I don't have a Trail Honcho anymore, and I don't have an SCX-10 Overland bed rack. Yeah, I can't help you at all. Sorry, Dave. Curry F9 axle AR44 or AR60 ring. Apologies in advance for basic VPS 7840. Oh, sorry. That 7840, I think that is actually that is an SCX-10 one rear axle, which is a AR60 ring gear basically. So there you go. I need some stickers. I don't have any stickers, actually. I really should do that again. Got to run all. Good evening. Thanks for stopping in, BT. Much appreciated. Don't forget to tip the host. Thanks, BT. Much appreciated as always. Appreciate everybody. I've been away. You already probably commented on this, but what chassis is under the MST body? That's a VS410 Ultra. So I had this is an Ultra, and this was a Pro. Both MST bodies. I don't know what this is catching on, but this was actually a VS410 Ultra we built on one of the Friday night live streams early. And
And then he ended up, he built it with like a beautiful suits body and all this. And he just was like, I don't want to scratch it. So can we, so he actually sold the body to a buddy, and then he wants to make this, he wants to put a different body on it and make it just way more like whatever you want to do, man. Doesn't matter. So he sent it back to me and we're going to do all that. First time on your stream, great channel. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. And sorry, I'm missing comments that jumped down. Pleco Nation, thanks for joining in. Always great to see you. Just bought a Team K and casing. It's a hardware kit, and it's missing some bolts. Ah, bummer. Do you and Matt still enjoy scale trail trucks, or are you going on-road only? Scale trail is where it's at. I only have a few on-road. Like the drag car's fun, but this is where it's... if all other RC went away and only scale trail was left, I would still be very happy. It would be nice to be able to join in on one live stream at least. There you see, we got it done for you. Do you have the same issues with... Do you have issues with swarf dropping in and tripping limit switches on your Stepcraft? Being problematic on our M1000 stopping projects annoyingly. No, I don't have that actually. I haven't had... Now, I probably don't cut as much volume possibly as what maybe you're finding the problem with. So, you know, me, I'm cutting... For me, like I have my Stepcraft, and it's just for little one-off projects. You know, it gets ran 3 times a week, maybe, for cutting small pieces of carbon or Delrin or whatever. Like, so I'm not running production. So that could very well be why. Are you running a desk collection and stuff like that? It's a good thing you work on trucks and not cameras. Good, exactly. As a bonus for me, my wife says she enjoys the Sunday morning stream better. Sunday nights or family night. Okay, that's a good point. And this one, no one will be disappointed when she won't let me watch it live Sunday night. Nice. What's the situation on 50K? As soon as it's done, it's in pretty good shape. Just waiting on some stuff to be finished up on, you know, gotta get the body and interior in, and then it's pretty much ready to go. So as soon as it's in and done, you guys will see it and see the winner. Make a sticker set that can go on the back glass. Oh, I see what you mean. Probably had to be a little bit nicer sticker so it stayed in better shape, right? Let's see. It's saved for 60K. I don't think it'll be that long. It's in pretty good shape already. Just ordered the dig for my VS410 kit that is coming this Thursday. Nice, Travis. Good luck. Can you please measure the length of the sliders, the width of the body at the doors, and the width of the fenders of the Axial Gladiator body? I do not have an Axial Gladiator. Sorry. Did I enjoy KOH? Best year ever so far. First time called, long time listener. First time caller, long time listener. Yes. Scale trail makes your lipo puff. I was like, wait, what? Now I get it. Now I get it. Josh, on-road? Lol. Alex, we all saw my new on-road trike on Friday, though. For anybody, well, Nicole clowned it pretty hard for looking like the Ace and Gary mobile, but did I save a photo? Oh, I still have it open. Hold please while it loads so I can share again with you guys. It's hard to see, I know, but that is a sidecar, like the vintage Tamiya one. Yes. So, but Nicole really said it looked phallic, so, which I knew she was going to say because I said it as well, but still. What would you use for rear shafts in the Bomber? Have VP spool already? So I mean, I either run the VP rear shafts or the VXD rear axle shaft setup, which is a little beefier shaft for the rear, but it replaces the spool as well. Thoughts on the TRX4? Does it suffer from torque twist? No, it doesn't have much torque twist at all. It's actually really good in that respect. TRX4 is super beefy. It's not my favorite performing truck, but it's just it's such a bulletproof option for the money. Can you measure everything? Drone footage at KOH was amazing this year. Totally agree. And he would put those 1.9 boggers on the Gladiator. Ooh, boggers. Only things that make lipos puff is I think he was he was drawing a parallel, like banana in your pocket. Early Sundays are better for me since I moved back to third shift. That's a tough one, man. That third shift has got to be hard to do. I feel like that would be hard to get used to no matter who you are. Simmer. I'll send my info. Yeah. What's a good comp rig to start with? Oh, see, that's a comp rigs. There isn't like a great, I don't know. When you say comp rig, like if you're going to try and be competitive in Sorka stuff specifically, if that's what you mean by comp, then, you know, being competitive usually means a lot of different things, and there's not like really a great base to start. It's all kind of custom, but I just build things that I'm going to enjoy regardless, because you compete a few times a year, maybe if you're traveling, and that is not usually is enough for me to want to really do it. But how hard is it to learn 3D printing if you're computer stupid truck driver? Don't want to invest in a printer if it's complicated. I don't want to oversimplify it, but I mean, I don't think that it's not that complicated if you have a printer and you just find files you want to print. You can pretty much bring them in and hit print. Maybe it wouldn't be the best way to print it. Maybe there'd be a better way to orient or tweak settings or things like that. But if you just wanted to like start making things, you could pretty quickly just load and click some buttons and send it off. But Ace and Gary, damn, that was a long time ago. Sidecar racing is cool, but they still do it for Isle of Man. Yes, it is crazy to see those sidecar racers on the Isle of Man. Yeah, Alex, it was an aha moment after I reread it. Yeah, exactly, right? What are your thoughts on on tire foams, 1-piece or 2-piece? I mainly run dual stage, so closed cell inner, open cell outer. That's what's in. Not this one. Evidently, I have stock foams in this one. I need to get that fixed. But like this has got a open cell outer, closed cell inner. Now on my Pro that I've been driving mostly this year, I've got a dual stage in the front, and then I'm running a single staged closed cell in the rear. So it's a lot firmer, but pretty interesting. I actually did that on my Bomber as well. It came out, it's a different driving style, but it's kind of cool. TRX4 will have great torque twist. Grab a 3300 kV Trailmaster Pro and 3S wheels for day. Yeah, but wheelies, but it doesn't torque twist that bad. It's pretty good. I've ran 2700 on 4S in mine quite a bit. What's the best way to get more clearance on the front bumper on a TRX4 Sport? Already have the mount flipped and the bumper removed. Well, the only thing to do then is remove more. So get the cutting wheel out. Cut some stuff up. Croc is so I have to admit I have clowned on Crocs for quite a while, and then someone sent me a set as a joke. Jesse says, "Are you wearing your orange Crocs?" Maybe. They're like 5 sizes too big, but maybe I still am. Yeah. Not gonna lie. I have no shame now. If you get the chance to see a speedway sidecar racing, it's nuts. 1000cc, 4 cylinders of an eighth mile. Oh, that sounds nuts. Josh loves Crocs and socks. What about hair donuts instead of... Whoa. Whoa. That's... Hello from Indiana. Thank you for teaching and learning. Gives it. No problem. Thanks for joining. Quack RC, yes. My big rubber. Oh my God. What's under the MST body? Both of these are VS410s, Ultra and Pro. Well, kind of a Pro. It's actually kind of a hodgepodge. This was actually the test bed truck for the VFD transmission before we released it. Someone did it to you, Crazy Master. You finally did it. So, yeah. They race them at Auburn Fairgrounds a few times a year. I've actually gone and watched that. Jiffy McSchlitz. Yeah, I've gone up and watched, what was that? What did they used to call it? Fast Fridays. So good times. They're comfortable, aren't they? Slip them on and off quick. So yesterday, Nicole saw me yesterday. She goes, still wearing them, huh? Yeah. Now, I'm never going to leave the house in them. I will say that. So, yeah. Hello from Hola from Barcelona. Must the frame rails be covered completely under Sorca rules? No, I don't believe that they have to be. I think they can actually be exposed. I don't think that there's anything about there's length. There's the length of frame rail that is controlled, but I don't believe that being exposed has anything to do with it in the rules. So, got to go shovel some snow. Have fun, Great Street. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Oh, that's the way it is with Crocs. They're so comfortable that you quit caring. Let's see. Are your Crocs in two-wheel drive or four? I guess two-wheel drive. They're too big though. They don't actually fit. I told Nicole, I'm like, should I actually just get some that are the right size? She's like, ooh, I don't know. What wheels and tires are you running on the orange JP1 body? So those are Method 310s, Vanquish Method 310s, and Proline crawlers. They are Cerakoted white though, so. And they've got some gray beadlock rings and some black hardware. And let's see. Like say the shock towers are sticking out of the body. No, that's allowed. That can happen front or rear. So there's nothing against that in the rules. They might be comfortable, but at what cost? What's my favorite crawler tires? These Proline crawlers, G8 compound. You say that, I left my house in my slippers to get some beer. Got out of the car and looked down and realized, oh, my slippers. Went in anyway. Which tire do you like more, Crawler or Hyrax, and why? Crawler. I like the way that they look and they still perform great. So, Crawler. A second pair of Crocs is a slippery slope. Thanks to 1080p, you can see how much dust the JP1 has collected the shelves. Yeah. Oh, wow. That really does look bad. We should... No, seriously, it's... That's bad. Why does that still look so dusty? Better. Whew. Yikes. Didn't notice that. There You should put a camera on. Oh, you mean Sookie? I think not Sucky. The Sookie can. Be careful with Crocs on stairs. My uncle fell on them. Hospital told him that happens often. Good news is we don't have any stairs, so that good thing to note. But yes, we do not have any stairs. Single story house, no basement, because it's California. What an upgrade brushless is from the brush. Just got my Mamba X 2850 kV done in my TRX4, and wow, it is a huge difference. Like once you like, oh wow. Why are stamped fender wells not installed? Oh yeah, where did those go? I don't know that. I forgot. That's the truck that I did this on. I already did those at one point. Huh. I don't even know. It's a really good point. I was sure you were getting the mini leaf blower. God. Painting body lines with dust. Nice. Don't do the spit shine, please. No concern. All right. We've gone almost 2.5 hours. I think we're going to call this one for the day. Again, everybody, hopefully you enjoyed the earlier stream. Maybe we'll do that again. I'll probably throw up a poll and try and make some sort of determination on that. But it was awesome. I appreciate all of you guys for jumping in, saying hello. I'm going to cut this thing off and prepare to watch a football game. I don't really know how you do that. We'll see. Hit the like button before you leave. Close the chat, hit like, and then leave. Because I appreciate it as always. Again, all of you, it was great for you to join. Thanks for spending some of your Sunday here. And we'll see you next time. Probably plan on an early next Sunday as well. We'll see how that goes. Later.